The interview room door opens, and she freezes. The CEO sitting across from her is wearing the same torn shoes she mocked 15 years ago. Before we dive in, drop a comment and let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoy stories like this, be sure to like the video, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and share it with someone who'd love it too. Victoria Chen remembers that day like it was yesterday. She was 17, senior year, top of her class at Westbridge Academy, the most exclusive private school in California. Her father owned half the tech companies in Silicon Valley. Her mother sat on museum boards. Victoria wore designer everything. She drove a BMW her parents bought for her 16th birthday. She had the world at her feet, and she knew it. That September morning, a new student arrived. His name was Daniel Torres, scholarship kid. Everyone knew it immediately. His backpack was old. His clothes were clean but obviously second-hand. And his shoes, those shoes, black sneakers with duct tape holding the sole together, frayed laces that didn't match. Victoria saw them during assembly. She nudged her best friend, Cassandra. "Look at his shoes," she whispered, loud enough for nearby students to hear. Cassandra giggled. "Oh, my God!" Daniel sat 3 rows ahead. His shoulders tensed. He heard them. Victoria didn't care. "Does he think duct tape is a fashion statement?" she said louder. More students turned to look. Laughter rippled through the auditorium. Daniel kept staring straight ahead. His ears turned red. "Maybe we should start a fundraiser," Victoria continued. "Get him some real shoes. Can't have him lowering our school's standards." The teacher shot her a warning look. Victoria smiled sweetly and went quiet. But the damage was done. For the rest of that year, Victoria made Daniel's life miserable. Not in obvious ways. She was too smart for that. She'd make comments just loud enough for him to hear. She'd laugh when he answered questions in class. She'd whisper to her friends whenever he walked by. She made sure everyone knew he didn't belong. Daniel never fought back. He kept his head down. He studied. He was brilliant. Everyone could see it. In calculus, he solved problems the teacher couldn't figure out. In literature, his essays made the class go silent. But Victoria couldn't let him have even that. "Must be nice having so much time to study," she'd say. "When you don't have a social life." Her friends would laugh. Daniel would say nothing. Senior year ended. Victoria went to Yale. Full ride, thanks to her father's donations. She forgot about Daniel Torres completely. Until today. Now she's 29, sitting in this interview room, staring at the man who just walked in. He's different, taller, confident, expensive suit. But those eyes, she'd know those eyes anywhere. Daniel Torres, CEO of Technova Solutions, the fastest-growing software company in the country, worth $300 million. And Victoria desperately needs this job. Her life fell apart 6 months ago. Her father's company collapsed in a massive fraud scandal, assets frozen, accounts seized. Her trust fund vanished overnight. Her father's in prison. Her mother moved to France to escape the shame. Victoria's Yale degree means nothing without connections. And all her connections disappeared the moment her family's money did. She's been unemployed for 4 months. Her savings are gone. She's 2 weeks from eviction. This job is everything. And the CEO is the boy whose shoes she mocked. Daniel sits down slowly. He hasn't said a word yet. He opens her resume, studies it. The silence stretches. Victoria's heart hammers. "Victoria Chen," he finally says. His voice is calm, professional. "Yale graduate, marketing background, previous experience at Chen Industries." He looks up. His face gives nothing away. "Your father's company," he says. "Yes," Victoria manages. Her throat is dry. "I followed that case," Daniel says. "Unfortunate situation." "Unfortunate?" doesn't begin to cover it. Tell me, Daniel continues, why do you want to work here? Victoria prepared for this question. She has her answer ready, but looking at him, the words die in her throat. I need this job, she says instead. Honest, desperate. Daniel's eyebrow raises slightly. That's not what I asked. I know, Victoria says, but it's the truth. I need this job. I'm good at what I do. I can bring value to your company, but I won't pretend I'm not desperate. Something flickers in Daniel's eyes. At least you're honest. He leans back in his chair. Do you remember me? Victoria's stomach drops. Yes. From where? She could lie. Pretend she doesn't remember, but he knows. She can see it in his face. Westbridge Academy, she whispers. You were a senior when I was. That's right, Daniel says softly. We were in the same calculus class. Victoria nods. She can barely breathe. Do you remember anything specific? He asks. This is it. This is where he destroys her. She deserves it. She knows she deserves it. I was cruel to you, she says. Her voice shakes. I mocked your shoes. I made your life hell. I was a terrible person. Daniel says nothing. He just watches her. I don't expect you to give me this job, Victoria continues. Tears burn her eyes. I wouldn't hire me either, but I need you to know something. She forces herself to meet his gaze. I'm sorry, she says. I'm so sorry. What I did was unforgivable. You didn't deserve any of it. I was privileged and cruel, and I took out my own insecurities on someone who was working 10 times harder than I ever did. A tear slides down her cheek. She wipes it away quickly. I've thought about you over the years, she admits, wondering what happened to you, feeling sick about how I treated you. And now you're here. Successful, brilliant, everything you deserve to be. She stands up. Thank you for your time. I'll see myself out. Sit down, Daniel says. Victoria freezes. Please, he adds. She sits. Her hands are shaking. Daniel closes her resume. You're right, you were cruel. You made my senior year miserable. Victoria closes her eyes. I went home crying more than once because of you, Daniel continues. My mother couldn't afford new shoes. She worked 3 jobs just to keep us fed. Those duct-taped shoes were all I had. I know, Victoria whispers. I'm so sorry. But you know what? Daniel says. You also did something else. Victoria looks up, confused. You made me angry, Daniel says. Really angry. And I channeled that anger into motivation. Every time you laughed at me, I studied harder. Every time you whispered about me, I pushed myself further. He leans forward. I promised myself I'd prove you wrong, he says. I'd show everyone like you that where you come from doesn't determine where you end up. You did, Victoria says. You proved it. I did, Daniel agrees. But not because I wanted revenge, because I wanted to succeed. There's a difference. He picks up her resume again. Your qualifications are impressive, he says. Your references are strong. You have skills we need. Victoria's heart leaps. Really? But I need to know something, Daniel says. Are you still that person? The one who mocks people for being poor? Who thinks privilege makes you better than others? No, Victoria says immediately. God, no. Losing everything taught me what really matters, how cruel I was, how empty my life was. She takes a shaky breath. I volunteer at a homeless shelter now, she says. It's the only thing that makes me feel human. I serve meals to people who have nothing, and I see myself in them. Not because I'm homeless yet, but because I finally understand. We're all just people trying to survive. Daniel studies her face. That's quite a change. Humility is expensive, Victoria says quietly. I paid for mine with everything I had. Silence fills the room. Tell me about your marketing experience, Daniel finally says. Victoria blinks. You're continuing the interview? I am, Daniel says. Unless you don't want the job. I want it, Victoria says quickly. More than anything. Then tell me what you can bring to Technova. For the next 30 minutes, they talk business. Victoria presents ideas. Daniel challenges them. She adapts. She's good. She knows she's good, and Daniel can see it too. Finally, he stands. I'll be in touch within the week. Victoria stands too. Thank you, really, for even considering me. Daniel walks her to the door. Victoria? She turns. I forgave you a long time ago, he says quietly. Holding on to anger would have poisoned my success. I let it go. Fresh tears spill down her cheeks. Why? Because I'm not defined by what you did to me, Daniel says. I'm defined by what I chose to do, despite it. He opens the door. But forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting, he adds. If you work here, you'll be judged on your merit. Nothing else. No special treatment. No second chances if you disrespect anyone. I understand, Victoria says. Good, Daniel says. We'll talk soon. 5 days later, Victoria gets the call. She got the job. She cries for an hour straight. Her first day at Technova is terrifying. Everyone knows who she is. The intern whispers. The assistants stare. Victoria keeps her head down and works. She works harder than she's ever worked in her life. 3 months in, Daniel calls her into his office. How are you settling in? He asks. Good, Victoria says. I hope. I'm trying. You're doing more than trying, Daniel says. Your campaign for the Parker account was exceptional. We won the contract. Victoria lights up. Really? Really, Daniel confirms. You have talent, Victoria, real talent. Not the kind daddy's money can buy. The compliment means everything. Thank you, she says. For everything, for the chance, for the faith. Daniel nods. You've earned it. 6 months later, Victoria is thriving. She's been promoted twice. She's respected by her team. She lives in a modest apartment. She takes the bus to work. She's happy. Really happy. One evening, she's working late when Daniel stops by her desk. Got a minute? He asks. Of course. They walk to his office. He pulls out an old photograph. It's from Westbridge Academy, senior year. The whole class. Victoria sees herself in the front row. Designer dress, perfect hair, cold smile. Daniel is in the back, almost hidden, wearing those shoes. I kept this, Daniel says, as a reminder. Of what? Victoria asks. That people can change, Daniel says. I changed from that scared scholarship kid into someone confident. You changed from that cruel girl into someone compassionate. He hands her the photo. Keep it, he says. Remember where you came from. Remember who you don't want to be. Victoria takes the photo with trembling hands. I'll never forget, she promises. I can't change the past, but I can be better in the future. That's all any of us can do, Daniel says. 2 years later, Victoria is Daniel's director of marketing. They're not friends exactly. The past doesn't allow for that. But there's something better. They're colleagues who respect each other. One day, a new intern arrives. Young kid, scholarship student, worn-out backpack. During his first meeting, someone makes a subtle comment about his clothes. Victoria stands up immediately. That's enough, she says firmly. We judge people by their work here, not their wardrobe. If that's a problem for anyone, there's the door. The room goes silent. The intern looks at her gratefully. After the meeting, Daniel approaches her. "That was good," he says quietly. "I won't let anyone go through what you did," Victoria says. "Not on my watch." Daniel smiles. "You really have changed." "I had a good teacher," Victoria says. "You showed me that success isn't about crushing others. It's about lifting yourself up without pushing anyone down." She pauses. "You could have destroyed me," she continues. "When I walked into that interview, you had every right to reject me, to humiliate me the way I humiliated you." "But I didn't," Daniel says. "Why not?" Victoria asks. "Really? Why did you give me a chance?" Daniel thinks for a moment. "Because I remember being desperate," he says. "I remember needing someone to see past my circumstances, to give me a shot. Your father's donations got you into Yale, but my scholarship got me into Stanford. We both needed help, just different kinds." He looks at her seriously. "And because I believe people can learn from their mistakes," he continues. "If I didn't believe that, what kind of person would I be?" Victoria's eyes fill with tears. "A bitter one." "Exactly," Daniel says, "and I refuse to be bitter. Life's too short." That evening, Victoria walks past a homeless man on her way to volunteer at the shelter. He's wearing duct-taped shoes. She stops, goes into a nearby store, buys him new shoes, socks, and a warm meal. When she hands them to him, his eyes fill with tears. "God bless you," he says. "Someone gave me a second chance," Victoria says, "just passing it forward." She walks away feeling lighter than she has in years. Her phone buzzes. Text from Daniel. "Great work on the Lawson pitch. You're becoming invaluable to this company." Victoria smiles. She's come so far from that cruel girl who mocked a boy's shoes. She lost everything, her money, her status, her arrogance. But she gained something more valuable: empathy, humility, purpose. She'll never forget where she came from, the privilege that blinded her, the cruelty that shamed her. But she'll also never forget the lesson Daniel taught her. That grace is more powerful than revenge. That forgiveness can heal both the giver and receiver. That who you become matters more than who you were. She looks at the old photograph on her desk. That scared boy in duct-taped shoes. That arrogant girl with the cold smile. Two people who both needed to grow. One who did it through hardship and determination. One who did it through loss and redemption. Both transformed. Both better. The shoes don't make the person. The choices do. And Victoria finally learned to choose kindness. It only took losing everything to find what really mattered. If this story touched your heart, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever gotten a second chance you didn't deserve? Have you ever given one to someone who hurt you? Drop your story in the comments below. Your experience might inspire someone else. And if you enjoyed this story, please hit that like button. Subscribe to our channel for more emotional journeys. Turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. And share this video with someone who needs to be reminded that it's never too late to change. Thank you for watching, and remember, who you were doesn't define who you can become.